All right, let's do this. Sorry I'm late. My allergies are kind of a little bit crazy today, so I'm kind of feeling miserable. I think it's just the seasonal change. We got a lot of rain here, and stuff is starting to grow back. So I was sneezing like crazy like 10 minutes ago. So I got Kleenex in here, and hopefully I don't have another sneeze attack. But that's why I'm late, and I'm here now. So let me get this chat popped up here on the side. Thanks to everybody that has been waiting patiently. I know I'm only like 15 minutes behind schedule. Anyway, who do we got in the building? We got Lady Liberty. We've got, let me move it more center. There we go. We got Kathy. We've got Lee. We've got Michael. We got Do Something. Daniel. We got Silas. Pocket. Mitchell Reese. Joe. Kim. Appreciate you all for being here. Hopefully some moderators join too, because I don't know if any trolls are going to show up. And if they do, you know, I count on my moderators to take care of them. But anyway, guys, we're going to talk about this town hall. And I got some clips pulled up because I want to go one by one through the clips, just the few that I thought were funny or interesting, or, you know, he said something just way off the cuff, because it just didn't make sense to go through the entire town hall. So we'll just go through the few clips and we'll just break them down because they're pretty ridiculous. Okay, so we got a good crowd watching. Make sure you guys give this a thumbs up. Yes, make sure you give it a thumbs up and share. Got people from Cleveland, Maryland, other people saying where they're from. Appreciate everybody tuning in, no matter where you are in the country. And prayers up for anybody in Texas or anywhere in the South that is without power. I got a good friend out there. I got family actually in the Houston area. So prayers up that they get their power back on. I'll address a little bit of that later on too. But first and foremost, let's get to these clips, man. Let's start with how Joe Biden, which this town hall, come on, man, come on. It's on one hand, it's like, it's shocking, but on the other hand, it's like, who's surprised by this? I mean, he's been on the mental decline for years now. So now that he's in the White House, it makes it worse. But we can't really pretend to be shocked by anything that he says, anything that he does, because he's lost it. He's completely lost it. Joe is gone. But hey, he's the commander in chief. He's in the White House. I mean, that's the reality of it. So let's go through these clips. Let's start with how he started off the town hall. Check this out.
All right, sir. Good to see you, man. Hey, folks. How are you? Good to be back, man.
It's nice to see you, sir.
And you know you enjoy being home with the baby more. Not only hear this.
I do, yes. Yeah, he's 9.5 months, so I'm very happy.
No. Everybody knows I like kids better than people.
I saw a picture of you with your grandson recently.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, sir.
Good to see you,
So
man.
weird.
Hey, folks.
He likes kids better than people. I mean, like I said, I don't even want to dig up why we know the evidence, all the evidence of how he likes kids better than people. He said this before. It's weird. It's awkward. He likes kids jumping on his lap. He tells you, see, here's the thing about Joe. He lies like a politician does, but he tells the truth more than he lies. He tells you exactly what he's thinking. You know exactly what Joe Biden is thinking. Oh, I'm trying not to sneeze right now. Oh my gosh. I don't know if anybody has allergies like this, but even if I took some Claritin, I'd still be in bad shape. But anyway, this dude, all the videos, all the pictures, all the times that he has pulled kids a little bit too close to him, sniffed a baby. This was all like last year too. While he was running for president, he did all this weird stuff. He doesn't hold anything back. He's reached that age in life where he just doesn't hold back. He says exactly what's on his mind. He says what he's thinking. His handlers can't do much about it. So, I mean, I guess just kind of look at it as it's a good thing. At least people can now see. I mean, they've been able to see, but more people can really see, like, dang, this dude is really just, a lot of these clips, of course, the news won't cover it. So people aren't going to see it. They won't know unless they actually watch the town hall. So take these little clips and share them. Be like, hey, look, this is what the president said. And then, you can obviously reference, if you want to go down that dark path, show them all the times that he showed that he likes kids better than people, which kids are people. It's just weird. This is a weird way to start a town hall, man. Just awkward. Anyway, let's move to the next one, because that one was just at the very beginning. And obviously he said some things that are much worse than that. We'll go to the next one.
And the biggest thing, though, as you remember, when you and I shouldn't say it that way, as you remember, but when you and I talked last, we talked about, it's one thing to have the vaccine, which we didn't have when we came into office, but a vaccinator. How do you get the vaccine into someone's arm?
Okay, so he said, I gotta pause that autoplay thing. Okay, he said he didn't have a vaccine when he came into office. Yeah, we did. We did have a vaccine. Obviously, everybody knows that. But see how Anderson Cooper just let him get away with it? Didn't say anything like, wait a minute. The vaccine was actually developed under the Trump administration. And not only that, people actually took the vaccine while Trump was still in office. So what are you talking about, Joe? He gets no pushback. He gets a pass. That's why he'll only do a town hall with CNN. As much as I don't like Fox, I'm pretty sure even the most liberal, what's the guy's name on Fox? Chris Wallace. I'm pretty sure even Chris Wallace would have pushed back on that. Like, hey, man, you can't just outright lie about it. The vaccine was developed, Operation Warp Speed, under Trump, and people actually took the vaccine while he was still in office. So what are you talking about? There was no vaccine. See, this is their way of trying to subtly give him credit for the vaccine, give him credit for the number of people that have taken it, right? Remember when he first came in, it's like, Trump was rolling it out too slow. There weren't enough people getting vaccinated every day. We're going to double the vaccine output, or double the number of vaccinations per day under my administration, even though they were exponentially going up under Trump. So that way, when we return to normal, which I don't really think that that's the plan, which I'll get to later. If we were to return to normal, whatever successes we have would all be credited to Biden. And that's what he thinks in his mind. That's probably what they had planned already. Him and his handlers, they probably already talked this through. We're just going to have the rhetoric framed around the change happening under your administration, the improvements, the upward trajectory under you. So he, like I said, Anderson Cooper letting him off the hook, completely skating by the fact that the vaccine was developed last year before Biden was crammed into the White House. I'll just say that because, YouTube's algorithms. It's just they want him to have credit for everything. So they make it sound like there was no vaccine before me. And you're just going to get away with it. We're just going to let that slide. Now, this next one, guys, I'm about to go off on this next clip. This one right here highlights pretty much everything that I say about the left. Not everybody on the left, but the people who, tend to look at us minorities as, Fabergé eggs. We're just too weak and fragile, and we just need the government's help. So if you haven't seen this clip already, check this one out.
A lot of people don't know how to register. Not everybody in the community, in the Hispanic and the African-American community, particularly in rural areas that are distant and or inner city districts, know how to get online to determine how to get in line for that COVID vaccination at the Walgreens.
Okay, so apparently Black people don't know how to get the vaccine. Black people don't know how to get online. Black people don't know how to do anything, essentially. This is the soft bigotry of low expectations that not just Joe Biden has. This is not just a Biden thing. This is a Democrat thing. This is a liberal thing, specifically a white liberal thing, looking at Black people, Hispanic people as weak, inferior, frail, needing help, needing assistance, just needing our hands held. They treat us like pet projects. And then in turn, they want to pat themselves on the back. Like, look at me. I saved Black people today because I'm so special. This is the problem with the whole white liberal like view of minorities in this country. They think we're too stupid to get an ID, apparently too stupid to get the internet. We don't know how to get the internet. That's the only reason that they could say voter ID laws are racist, because clearly Black people don't know how to get an ID. I mean, I've never in my life met a Black person without an ID, right? See, that's why I say it's always projection. They say, oh, Republicans, conservatives, they hate Black people. They hate Hispanic people. They would never accept a Black person running for office. I saw that trending on Twitter last night. Like, they would never accept Nikki Haley because she's a brown person. Like, did you forget that Ben Carson ran for president? He was pretty popular too. Did you forget that actually, if Dinesh D'Souza ran for president right now, I'm pretty sure he'd get a lot of support. But that's besides the point. They think that, you know, it's the other side that's racist. They don't like these people. That's why they don't want them to vote. So while they're calling someone else racist, they're projecting their own racist. Republicans are trying to block people of color, you know, colored people. They're trying to block colored people from being able to vote with their voter ID laws. So it's like, wait a minute, what are you saying? Are you saying that these colored people are too stupid to know where to get an ID? They're too stupid to know that the election is, you know, planned out in advance, and they can't look ahead to see, like, where's the polling station? Where do I go? Let me plan this out 6 months in advance. Make sure I have time off work. Make sure I know where it's at. Make sure I have a ride. You can't make this stuff up. And this is not the first time that they have talked like this. I think I have the clip pulled up. Hold on. I wanted to play just a little bit of it. Do you guys remember this video right here from, I think this was from 2016, before the 2016 election? Check this video out. This is from Fox News.
Do you have an opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad.
I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for Black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for Black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of Black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem.
Okay, you see that? Do you see that? I saw somebody in the comment call that scripted. Someone in the comment section called that scripted. That wasn't scripted. That was completely unscripted. That was completely unscripted. That's what they think. When they think of Black people, they think of criminals, they think of felons, they think of people who live in the ghetto, they think of people who don't have access to cell phones, or they have prepaid phones. They don't know where to get an ID. They don't have access. And Joe Biden himself in this town hall said, in rural areas, they don't know how to access it. Rural areas and inner cities, they don't know how to get online to know where to find the closest Walgreens so that they can go stand in line for the vaccine. So they need our help. They need to depend on us. They need the government. It's ridiculous. They completely gloss over the fact that we have Black millionaires, Black billionaires, Black lawyers, doctors, pharmacists, judges, police chiefs, mayors. They just gloss over the fact that there is success regardless of race in this country. Everything is about race with them. It's all about identity politics. It's all about equality of outcome. It's all about group identity. that you have a shared experience. If you're white, you're part of a community, a white community, and therefore you have privilege, you're a racist, you have blind racism, you have all these biases that you didn't know you had. You're racist without even knowing it. And therefore you need to be anti-racist. And then with black people, of course, it's like you're part of an oppressed community. You've had it hard. You're worried about policing. Every time you leave your house, you got to wonder if you're going to make it home alive, because racism lurks around every corner and it's systemically built into your life. Everywhere you go, it's at your job, it's at the checkout lane at Target or Walmart. Everywhere you go, you're going to be faced with systemic problems. And then, of course, climate change and the pandemic and the vaccine rollout is racist. So we have to give you equal outcome. We're going to give you the vaccine because you're black. We're going to give you that before we give it to people that are vulnerable of other races, even if they're older, if they're sick, if they have a compromised immune system. We're giving it to you because you're black, Mike. You deserve the vaccine first because of the way you were born. This is Democrat doctrine. This is what they believe. This isn't a secret. This isn't my opinion. This is true. And Joe Biden in this town hall, he put what he believed is true out there. He said it straight up. He actually believes that. He believes that black people are really dumb and ignorant and stupid, just like the people who put out that cringy rap cartoon propaganda video targeted at black people. Let's all get the vaccine. Now's not the time to debate. It's time to trust. If Doc says it's safe, it's safe. It's not even that they used rap music. It's not even that they used a cartoon. It's that they used like first grader lyrics and really awful graphics, because they think like we got to just go down to the baseline, like the most fundamental way to present this message that black people should take the vaccine. Let's get a corny rap song, put it in cartoon format, and let's just do baseline, borderline remedial lyrics to get the message across. This is what they think of, not just blacks. They think of that of Hispanics too. Remember when Biden went out on stage? I think he was actually down in Miami. He played Despacito when he went to speak to Hispanic people down in, I'm pretty sure it was in Florida. Yeah, matter of fact, I know it was in Florida because, swing state. He was down in Miami. He goes on stage, plays Despacito, and looks around like, yeah, you guys like that, right? Damn, he might as well just salsa danced. Or these people are just, it's so cringy. It's so frustrating. It's so ignorant. And the saddest part about all of it isn't even that they do this. The sad part is it kind of works. It works on a lot of people. It's very unfortunate. People like me, plenty other people that you guys follow or watch on social media, whether it's Anthony Bryan Logan, Jericho Green, Brandon Tatum, anybody else, black people that have sense can see right through this. And not only do we see right through this, we will expose it 100% of the time. Every time I see something like this, you better believe I'll call it out. Even though it doesn't surprise me, it still makes me mad. It's upsetting. It's frustrating that they think so lowly of people who aren't white. Now, if there ever was a definition of white supremacy, isn't it a white person that thinks that everyone who's not white is too dumb to get an ID or access the internet or know how to get a vaccine? That is white supremacy right there. That is, if that's not the definition of white supremacy, then what is? It is the white liberal, the white Marxist that sees minorities as inferior and needing a handout from the government and needing their hand held to get through life because we're just too dumb. We just can't do it. We don't know how to access the internet, especially if we're in rural areas. We don't know how to find the city, of course. We don't know how to connect to the grid. And if you live in the inner city, it's just too distracting and confusing. All these buildings and street signs with big words on them. We just don't know where to go. Ridiculous. So that's what Biden happened to say at his town hall. And did Anderson Cooper like confront him or say like, hey, that's a little bit bigoted? No, of course he didn't. Just let it go. Just like CNN will let it go. Just like everybody else who wants to cry about racism all day will let it go because they don't actually care. They're just fake and just want a virtue signal. That's all it is. They only care if they think it's a Republican doing it. If Trump said anything like that, If Trump did a town hall and said, you know, blacks and Hispanics especially have a hard time accessing the internet, they don't know where to go. Imagine Trump saying even half of that. What would the response be? That would be breaking news on your screen, interrupting whatever program you were watching. Breaking news out of the town hall in New York City. President Trump said that black people are not able to access the internet. Therefore, they're going to have a harder time doing X, Y, and Z. Or how about this? Breaking news. President Trump said poor kids are just as smart and just as talented as white kids. Or President Trump addressed a group of black Americans today and said that they're going to put y'all back in chains. Or if you have a problem trying to figure out whether you're for me or Biden, you ain't black. Just imagine Trump saying that. Imagine Ron DeSantis saying that. Imagine anybody to the right of Nancy Pelosi saying that. Imagine anybody saying that. Instead, what they do, they'll take what somebody who's on the opposite side of the political aisle says, and they'll put it out of context, or like I said, they'll project their own racism in real time, right there on the spot. Prime example, Ron DeSantis. When he was campaigning against Andrew Gillum, he was talking about socialism. He said, you know, our economy's going good. Everything's great. We don't want to monkey this up. We need to keep our economy good, keep Floridians free. You know what they took out of that? They said, monkey this up. He's referring to Andrew Gillum. He made a racial trope. He was dog whistling to his deeply rooted white supremacist base in Florida when he said, monkey this up. I'm like, I didn't hear that at all. But you did, you racist, because when you hear monkey, you think of black people. That makes you a racist. Or like Roseanne. Remember when Roseanne lost her show, about 3 years ago? Roseanne made a joke on Twitter. And yeah, you could say it was insensitive or whatever. Who cares? She said, what did she say? She's like, oh, Valerie Jarrett is what happens when you cross something with Planet of the Apes. Then when you look at a picture of Valerie Jarrett, she actually looked like one of the characters from Planet of the Apes. Doesn't mean it's right for Roseanne to say it. Doesn't mean it's wrong for her to say it. All she's saying is they kind of look similar. But what people took out of it is she thinks of black people as monkeys and apes. Okay. All the people that called that racist are actually racist because that's what you think of black people. See what I mean, guys? I could take one topic from this town hall and make the whole stream about it. But I think there's something else he said that's even worse than his comment about blacks and Hispanics. So let's play that clip really quick.
You know, Chinese leaders, if you know anything about Chinese history, it has always been the time when China has been victimized by the outer world is when they haven't been unified at home. So the central, vastly overstated, the central principle of Xi Jinping is that there must be a united, tightly controlled China. And he uses his rationale for the things he does based on that. I point out to him, no American president can be sustained as a president if he doesn't reflect the values of the United States. And so the idea, I'm not going to speak out against what he's doing in Hong Kong, what he's doing with the Uyghurs in western mountains of China and Taiwan, trying to end the one China policy by making it forceful. I said, and by the way, he said he gets it. Culturally, there are different norms at each country, and their leaders are expected to follow.
So, yeah, you know, culturally, there's just different norms in China. You know, just like culturally, there were different norms in Germany in the 1930s. It was just cultural differences. Like, who am I to speak about that? I can't speak about that. Cultural differences. That's worse. That's the worst. That's why I saved it for the last clip. That's the worst thing he said at the town hall by far. putting Uyghur Muslims in camps. Also, all the other human rights violations that China has committed over the years, the atrocities, the forced sterilization. Remember that? The one-child policy, the way they have treated people from other countries, the way they treat Christians over there. They burn down their churches. They persecute all other religions over there, Muslims, Christians, Africans. During the pandemic, they put African people out on the street. They put signs in the windows. But, these are just cultural differences, right? We can't criticize China. We can't call China what they really are. We can't hold them accountable for their human rights violations, their abuse of children in sweatshops. Come on now. Torture. They torture people over there. Come on, man. Come on, Joe. See, this is, of course, he gets the softball questions. Nobody pushes back. Anderson Cooper Town Hall. It's all good. Joe is healing us. The uniter in chief. He's bringing us together. You have to be really, really, really slow. I'm just saying it because it's true. You have to be really slow not to be able to see through that town hall, see it for what it was, a softball affair for Biden to just get easy questions, no pushback, no accountability. They just let it happen. And then people who just, accept CNN as they don't see the propaganda. They just let it go. They're like, yeah, it was a pretty good town hall. I enjoyed it. Anderson Cooper was very firm, very tough against Joe. And I feel like he's doing a good job. Instead of seeing like, whoa, no pushback on that. You see, Joe Biden is a puppet for the Communist Chinese Party. He's selling our country out to that country. He's going to let China just completely run roughshod over us. Right? Chinese hegemony is all but assured to happen under this president, guaranteed. Just like they own Hollywood, just like they own the NBA, they own Joe Biden. He would never say anything bad about Xi Jinping or the Chinese Communist Party. It's like that was a golden opportunity right there for him to say, what they did to Hong Kong was wrong. What they're doing to Taiwan is wrong. Their aggression in the South China Sea is wrong. Their human rights violations, wrong. No, he won't do that. He will not do that. And you all know why. But hey, people just, people want to bury their heads in the sand and just be fake about it, be frauds, just let Biden get away with it. Because, hey, at least he's not Orange Man, right? Orange Man bad. Thank you for the super chat, MAGA Maniac. Appreciate you. God bless. And I got the other chat pulled up here so I can actually see super chats if they come in. So I just had to, address those few things as it relates to that town hall. That town hall was awful. It was full of bigotry. It was full of making excuses for China. It was full of lies, lying about the vaccine. It's just disgusting. Disgusting. But that's who liberals wanted. That's who they wanted in the White House because hey, at least he's not the Orange Man. So he's able to basically get away with murder, get away with everything. And do we expect him to hold China accountable for anything? No. Instead, he's going to do the opposite. Help build China up. He cares more about China and their feelings than he cares about the people that they're persecuting. Like the Uyghurs over there. He won't say anything about it. They just have different cultural norms over there, just like Germany did, just like Iran does. It's just cultural differences. So sad, right? So sad. So what else is going on? What besides the town hall, besides Kamala Harris taking meetings with foreign leaders on behalf of Joe Biden? We know the writing's on the wall. It's been on the wall. It's just a matter of time before they use the 25th Amendment when he has because he said it himself. He said it on camera, Joe Biden, in his Freudian slips. He said it at some point. He's like, you know what? If Kamala Harris and I have a disagreement, I'll have a. He said something like, I'll have a medical emergency and I'll have to step down. Lo and behold, that's what's probably going to happen. Will it happen this year? I could see it happening this year. I could see them trying to make it a smooth transition. It happens around the holidays or something, and then next year Kamala takes over as president. They always tell you. They tell you what they're thinking. And the rest of it, you can just see right through it. All of his lies. He lied about the $2,000 stimulus checks. All the Democrats did that, really. They lied. These people are so ridiculous. Mike, will Kamala be worse than Joe? Yeah, she will be. She will be. She's a lot more unhinged. She's a lot more unpredictable. You see, Joe Biden is pretty predictable. We already knew what he was going to do. We knew what his stances were. A couple things at the town hall last night that were pretty predictable. When somebody asked him about student loan forgiveness, he said, I'm not going to do that. There's not going to be student loan forgiveness. Because that's always been his stance. He hasn't been like super far left. He is far left, don't get me wrong. But in comparison to somebody like Kamala Harris, no. Kamala Harris would be a lot worse. She's 1,000 times worse than Joe. Joe's a corrupt, old, senile career politician. Kamala Harris is conniving, wicked, evil. And who knows what she would do. So I don't, I think it would be 10 times worse. That's all I can really say about it. I just can't believe how people still, you show them clips from this town hall and they'll make excuses for it. They'll say show the full clip, show it in context. Like, no, that was in context. That was in context. He lied. He said the vaccine didn't come out until he was president. He actually thinks blacks and Hispanics are dumb, and he actually thinks China has, different cultural norms, and that's just okay. Someone said he's not far left. No, he's not that far left. He's not as far left as Bernie Sanders. He's more of a globalist puppet. He's a neoliberal. That's very different than like a full-on, like outwardly, Marxist. And what I think is he's a bought and paid for politician. So he just does the bidding of corporations. The donor class. He panders to the donor class. He's owned by big pharma, by big banks, special interest groups, military industrial complex, foreign governments, China. That's what it is with Joe. Whereas somebody like Bernie, he's a straight up communist Marxist. He came out and pretty much said, he believes in bread lines and canceling student debt. See, Bernie would go in there and straight up wreck shop communists from day one. Biden, more, like I said, more of a globalist. But I think the end game would still be communism, but it'd be on a global scale, hence the Great Reset, which is another thing I want to talk about here too, is because, the Great Reset agenda, they're moving full steam ahead with this agenda as far as, disrupting the economy, reimagining economic systems, which really means we're going to end capitalism. Well, they're well on their way to doing that by keeping everybody locked down, shuttering businesses. And you got, Bill Gates over there gobbling up land. And that guy, I forget his name, the guy who's is the head of the World Economic Forum, he predicts by the year 2030, we will own nothing and be happy. We will own nothing and be happy. Bill Gates saying we should, start eating synthetic beef. That's what they want, man. You eat synthetic beef. You take synthetic antibodies in these vaccines. You will own nothing. You will be happy. And that's just that. You're just gonna, you're just gonna live your life and be happy without any goals, aspirations, ambitions. We will pay you every month. What do you think a stimulus check is? That's a payment from the government. That's your money, but they could just print more of it. But that's what it is. They just want just constant dependence on the government. That's what they want. Big Brother's going to take care of you and save you. We got this. You don't have to worry about owning anything. You will be happy. End of story. Like, why should the fate of the world rest in the hands of like 50 billionaires and some corporations? So that's what the whole United Nations thing is about. That's what the World Economic Forum is about. That's what the Bilderberg meetings are about. It's about ushering in this great reset, new world order, whatever you want to call it, globalism, one world government. Did anybody notice last year in that first spending bill or that COVID relief package, they tried to slip in digital currency to replace the US dollar, but it got taken out or it got rejected. Do you remember the artificial coin shortage of last year? I'm telling you guys, the truth, it's all out there. None of this stuff is made up. You can go research it for yourself. It's out there. Thank you, Michael, for the super chat. Michael to Michael. Appreciate you. And thanks to everybody else that has tuned in so far. Make sure you guys like this and share it. I just think, man, it's just too obvious. It's very obvious what's happening right now. And this great reset thing is real. People need to be paying attention. Synthetic beef, like, no. Right? The whole climate change, like I said, they use these omnipresent threats to fearmonger the population into surrendering our freedoms and looking for a savior, which would be Big Brother government. That's all it is it's just a scheme. It's a Trojan horse for a power grab. It's so that they can consolidate power, control the energy grid, control transportation, control speech, control your movement. When you talk about travel restrictions, that's control. And people will willingly submit all of that. They're like, okay, I'll do whatever you want. Just keep me safe from these germs. Keep me safe from the germs that the news told me is everywhere. I'll do whatever. I'll stay in my house. I'll spray Lysol on everything. I'll quarantine my groceries. I won't go anywhere. I'll wear 10 masks. Whatever you tell me to do, I'll do it. That's where we are right now. Is the brainwashing, the programming has worked on so many people. Like I said last week, I was outside for a walk in my neighborhood and I saw two people walking their dogs and they both had on masks. Outdoors, there were no cars coming down the street, no kids in their front yard. They were just walking on an empty street with masks on, which it's their right to do, by the way, but that's where we are. Before last year, they probably never wore a mask outdoors or indoors or anywhere, but people will go to such great lengths for that perceived security, that false sense of security and safety. And they're getting it from people they've never met. They're getting it from information like Fauci. They're getting it from the news. They're getting it from articles. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. It's all about control. They want you to they want to control you. They want you to submit. They want you to surrender. And that's why the President's Day event was so powerful, because it shows them that we aren't with them. We don't buy this. You don't control us. If we want to go stand on a street corner and wave Trump flags, that's what we're going to do. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. It's basically signaling to the establishment, the powers that be, that, hey, look, we're not going along with this. We don't accept it. We reject your puppet president. We reject your false narratives. We reject all of your propaganda. And we're still going to be here. It's the ultimate act of rebellion. You see this in other countries that, you know, they have to deal with tyranny on their doorstep a lot more regularly than we do here. And that they do the same thing. They organize. Do you remember the yellow vests back in, was it 2019 in France, the yellow vest? The tractor protests, I think that might have been in Germany or Netherlands or something. But the farmers all got together and protested in their tractors. See, they're trying to get you to acquiesce and just submit. That's what it is. They're saying submit, Trump supporters, submit. So when people come in my chat rooms and people leave comments like, you guys are a cult, you maggots, all these things, all the you know, insults that they throw our way, is they're basically saying like, you need to do what I told you. You need to do what I told you. Do what the government says. Accept Biden, move on, put your double mask on and shut up and accept it. Or, you know, we'll take away your speech online. That's what they want. They want you to submit. They don't like rebels. But this is the American spirit. They don't like rebels. They, you know, the spirit of rebellion, the spirit of freedom, that puts fear in them. That terrifies people that want to control you when they see that they're not able to control you successfully. So on President's Day, you have a big showing outside of Mar-a-Lago and it gets news coverage and you buck their narratives that it's just a big, violent white supremacist movement. You buck their narrative. And so I think it's powerful. And I think that we can build on this and keep it going. I like the momentum right now. I like where it's headed. And this is what we have to do. Simply what we have to do is just be loud and proud and rebellious. Rebel, rebel, rebel. That's the name of the game, rebel. Because they want you to go away so they can bring in their new norms. They're terrified of how many millions of people in this country don't support their agenda. Their Great Reset agenda, their Green New Deal agenda, their globalist agenda. None of it makes sense. It doesn't add up. People can't open their businesses at all. Kids can't go back to school. We can't have concerts. But maskless migrants could just pour in over the southern border. And we're just supposed to accept it. Like, I'm sure there's a good reason for it. I'm sure Fauci can explain why it makes sense to have a bunch of maskless people come over the border. But, you know, we can't go to grandma's 90th birthday party because we're spreading COVID. We're super spreaders, but if you're crossing the border, you're not a super spreader. The whole idea of super spreader is just propaganda, brainwashing. There's a group of healthy people over there that are spreading a virus that they don't have. They're sick even though their bodies haven't told them they're sick. They're asymptomatic, but they're carrying a super deadly disease. Come on, man. I was born in the morning, but not this morning. I'm not falling for that. No, I will never accept this super spreader, asymptomatic spread. No, sorry. Good luck trying to get people with common sense, logic, and discernment to just accept that. Like, hey, you're sick. This piece of paper right here that we printed out said that you are sick. So you need to go stay inside for 15 days. No, no, no. Won't happen. So I think I've pretty much covered everything. Yeah, they're trying to convince you that you don't know your own body. I mean, just think about how desperate they are to control you. How they're saying you need to wear 2 masks. And if you don't, we got people out there, we got contact tracers. We have people out there that we have brainwashed so successfully that they'll go out of their way to shame you into submission. It's all about control. They're like, You need to do what I told you to do with your body. That's what it is. You need to do what I told you to do with your own body. No exceptions. These stupid mask mandates, these orders, these mask orders. It's like, if you don't do what I told you to do with your own body, I will lock you up and I will take your money from you. I will extract resources from you. I will extract your wealth. I will take from you what you worked for if you don't do with your body what I told you to do with your body. That's essentially what a mask mandate is. It's the decree of some tyrant saying, because I said so, and it's backed by science. You need to cover your face because I told you to. If you don't, I'm going to take your money. You know, if you don't toe the line, if you don't back this agenda, if you happen to have too much wrong think, not only will I make sure that you're taken off the internet, I'll make sure that you don't get to have a job. I'll make sure you can't buy and sell. That's the long game right there. They're playing the long game. But it can only work if people go along with it. There will always be more of us than them. There will always be more freedom-loving, God-fearing, bold, proud, brave people out there than there will be tyrants. They know that. They know that. Why do you think DC is a militarized zone? You think that's just going to go away? Let's expect that to be DC going forward. That city sucks. That city's done with. That city's going to be like that from now until at least 2024. At least. That is officially a new norm. DC will be a militarized zone. I don't see it being any more of like a tourist spot. There probably still will be, you know, museums and whatnot. People want to go see the monument and the Lincoln Memorial. But good luck walking close to the Capitol building again. Good luck being able to see the White House. And personally, I don't care. I could care less about DC or any of that, because all that is a representation of federal power that, you know, is heavy-handed, too much overreach, you know, meddling in states' businesses. Whatever happened to states' rights? Right? The state should have more power than the federal government, period. That's just what I think. But, you know, they're trying to go after people that are not going along with it, which is why Biden wants to impose travel restrictions on Florida for no reason other than the fact that DeSantis said no. That's why. That's exactly why. It's not just political. It's like, hey, we got a rogue state down here. A rogue state down here. We got a rebel down here in Florida, this governor, Ron DeSantis. So we need to crack down on his state. We need to impose travel restrictions, threaten to withhold federal aid from Florida. It's like, hey, that's fine. You can withhold all the aid you want. All of your fake money that you just printed. This is why on Twitter, and then I'm going to wrap up after this. The other day on Twitter, I tweeted out that if all 50 states were to become their own sovereign independent nations, no federal government, just states, just states becoming countries, which of those states would thrive and which ones would fail? And I said, take politics out of it. No politics, just which states would thrive based on geographic location, climate, natural resources, how fertile the soil is, how strategically located they are as far as trade with other nations. Take Florida, for example. If Florida were its own independent nation, we would only border Alabama and Georgia as other independent nations. So therefore, there's only two potential enemies that could invade us from the north. Otherwise, we're surrounded by water. So we'd have a strong Coast Guard, Navy, right? We'd have two trading partners to the north. We'd be able to secure our border. You get what I'm saying? We can grow food year round. We've got certain industries. We can drill offshore. That's what I mean. So just because a state like Pennsylvania is blue doesn't mean Pennsylvania couldn't thrive as its own independent nation based on natural resources, agriculture, climate, diverse geography, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I mean. That would be very interesting. That would be very interesting. And that's what I think. I would love to see if we can't, if we can't thrive as a country, which I don't know. It's hard to imagine it. Maybe it's that we become independent nations. Hold on. Let me see I thought I saw somebody put something in. Hold on. Oh, snap. So apparently Rush Limbaugh passed away. Damn. Wow. Yeah, I guess news just broke that Rush Limbaugh passed away. I know that he was battling cancer. And damn, man, this just kind of just threw me off, really. Wow. Well, rest in peace to Rush Limbaugh, man. He was 70 years old. This must have like literally just broke because it's not really trending on Twitter yet, at least not on my phone. That's what I was looking at, was my phone. But yeah, guys, Rush Limbaugh just passed away. I'm trying to see, like, yeah, I don't see anything other than just people giving their condolences. There's no news articles. Oh, Fox News 3 minutes ago. Rush Limbaugh, conservative talk radio pioneer, dead at 70. And then a couple blue check marks are talking about it now. Oh, see, guys, I don't even want to talk about this anymore because I already know where it's going to go as far as the left-right fighting over it, because you already know that the algorithms on social media are going to feed you things that make you upset about this. You're going to, especially Twitter, you're going to see people posting things about Rush Limbaugh to celebrate his death. They're going to be celebrating it. They're going to politicize it. And then on the other side, people are going to say, you guys are doing this and doing that. It's just going to lead to more fighting. That's basically what it's going to be. So it pisses me off too to see people celebrating someone's death just because they disagreed with them politically. But that's where we are in today's United States. But I'm going to wrap this stream up. But yeah, rest in peace to Rush Limbaugh. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of news coverage about it today. I'm pretty sure we'll hear more about it. I'm pretty sure Trump will have some kind of official statement for it. But yeah, guys, appreciate everybody that tuned in. Thanks for liking, subscribing. Thanks to everybody that super chats. Thanks to the people that donate on a weekly basis or they're members of the channel. God bless you all. I'll catch you guys in the next stream.